was fighting an uphill battle a lot trying to do this early on in my career.
Crazy.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which, like you said, is understandable because it was so crazy at the time.
I think Tico mentioned when I was talking to him that you missed an upload and you cried.
Yes.
I don't remember that story.
That was like a year and a half, 2 years in where I, like in between, like on like day 5 or 600, I was uploading every day. I was finding a way to get a new video up every day, regardless of my circumstances, what was going on. I had a YouTube video up. And this one day in New York, I couldn't get it up. Like the internet was out and it was later in the day. Like I had started later in the day and I had issues with Vegas and then I got it. And then I remember like knocking on the neighbor's door with a laptop.
Chat,
this
is hilarious.
Use your Wi-Fi.
No way.
And their Wi-Fi wasn't working. And for some reason we couldn't go to I don't know. And I just remember like losing it in my room. And yeah, I think I cried because I was like so devastated that I lost that streak that I worked on every single day for like a year and a half, 2 years. But it was low-key for the better because like at the time it needed to be a thing where like, yo, I can chill. Like, I can take a day
we
off.
were not okay with missing one day. Like that was like a mental illness for us for a little bit. I mean, obviously it was the grind. It was a very like motivated grind, but it actually was detrimental long term.
It was really detrimental to the mental health of like a 18-year-old, 19-year-old kid.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You don't go through like Mr. Beast like said something like this. He was like, humans did not like evolve thousands, millions of years to like be conditioned to like make content and entertain people and like read a chat and like, you know, like everything that comes with this. Like, yeah, like it definitely had a big effect on my mental health back then. And I was clearly I cried.
Yeah.
Like I cried. I was like so upset with myself and just like mad. And like, I remember panicking and like, I didn't have like a laptop in my hand. I'm knocking on neighbors' doors. Like I'm knocking, yo, can I get some Wi-Fi? Like I gotta get this video up and I couldn't do it. And then, yeah.
That, you know, that fire that we all had though to work that hard was obviously why everything worked so well for us early on. I guess before you even got into phase though, you know, I had the honor of recruiting you live in Road to Kill
you did
Cam.
recruit me, yeah.
I recruited you on Ghost, Road to Kill Cam on Ghost.
Yeah.
You were the only non-phase member and I'm like, Adapt, go change your gamer tag. Now I wouldn't want to put the old clip because I was cussing in it and I just sounded disgusting in it. But
what did I sound like?
And I looked disgusting in it. But it's cool. It's cool.
Play the clip, man.
It's like probably up here right now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But it's a cool piece of history. I got to recruit you to phase. I'm not saying I'm the one that brought you in. I don't remember how you got in, but what's the story of you joining phase? You would know. So
I mean, to be honest, I was like I don't want to say the best, but like one of the best trick shotters outside of phase in that BO2 era for mad long.
Yeah.
That door was never open for me because Steve Bass was the leader of phase at the time and calling all the shots. You know this. Up until that moment, always would like move a certain way when he was in the chat, like in the Skype chats, or like pretty much is like glazed out of him. I was the one person who was not afraid to talk.
Yeah.
Like I was in like the Skype chat and saw like Seabass just to sit like see what he would say. Like everyone's like, "Oh my God, Seabass, look at my clip. What do you think about this?" I would just be in there talking, trolling. Like I wasn't.
You were just a troll. You were a young kid.
Yeah,
and you were trolling, but yeah, it wasn't received very well.
Yeah, I was young at the time. He didn't like it though. He did not like it, so he kind of blacklisted me. Which was like years later, I was like still trick shotting and got really good. I'm like, damn, I should be in phase, but because I was like.
Yeah.
But really, it wasn't like that serious. Like, I was like, I was just like trolling. Like I didn't say anything crazy. I was just like nerd. Like, and then like he would kick me from the chat, my team chat. He would kick me from my source chat. I have such vivid memories of this. And I'm like, how is someone who's not in our team kicking me from our team chat and no one's saying?
We were all young and
Banks,
that was interesting.
And Banks would like always unmute me and bring me back in. But the story of how I joined was like. I told you, like, for a while, I was a really good trick shotter. And outside of that, also making content on YouTube. Like, I had, at the time, people didn't have, like, big fan bases outside of phase that were trick shotters. I had, like, 80,000 subs.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Just making trick shotting videos. And Banks joined phase. And me and Banks were in SOAR together. We would talk a lot and, like, manage kind of SOAR and, like, pick the, like, opener for soaring in South. So he was, like, very much so involved. And we would talk a lot. And he joined phase on some sort of, like with a leadership role.
Yeah.
And
he came up with the idea of phase 5.
Yeah.
The recruitment challenge. And then he joined after.
Yeah.
Basically. Yeah.
And what's it called? He joined And for a while, he would tell me, he's like, don't worry, like, give me some time. Like, I'll get Seabass to come around. Just keep sending me clips. I'm going crazy. I'm sending him clips every single day. Every single day, boom, this, boom, this, boom, this. Like, our Skype, if I had our, I wish I could find our messages. It's just me sending him mad clips. BO2, like the era wraps up. And at this point, I'm like convinced. In my head, I'm fully convinced I'm never joining FaZe. I fully accepted it. I'm like, it's cool. Whatever. Ghost comes out. We're doing the 6-man. I'm the only non-FaZe member in the lobby, which wasn't rare, by the way. I was all very much so in a lot of those lobbies. That's why when you hear my reaction, I was genuinely like shocked, like ecstatic. Like I was like, what?
Yeah.
Like really? Like I thought I was blacklisted.
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, like I got in?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? Go.
Yeah.
And then from that moment, I was like, okay, now that I'm here, because a lot of people would join FaZe, and that was like they would. That was like the finish line for them. They're like, okay, this was just like a fun hobby. I wanted to see if I could beat the game. I got in FaZe, I'm done. I was like, nah, like this means you gotta go harder. So I promised myself, I was like, okay, I'm gonna make a YouTube video every single day, not missing a single day. And I did that
up until the New York day.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy. Yeah, man. I think it's shocking that there's like a few people that join FaZe and they never put out one video with FaZe.
Never. They stopped.
Like
a lot.
Well, it's insane. It's insane. I never understood that. People have different mentalities, but I think I was like you. I was making videos every day, nonstop for years. That was the only way. That was the only way to do it. So you joined FaZe, and I think what was really cool about your story of being in FaZe is you were in high school. You were in your, I don't know if you were in your junior year, but I know your senior year was very much like a series on your channel. Bro. I know you had vlogs at your school, and what was that like being like the most popular kid in high school, being in FaZe, about to graduate, and just vlogging it all?
It's crazy because looking back on it, and when you say it like that, it is crazy.
Yeah.
But at the time, it was so regular for me. Like I joined my junior year, right? And it was very regular. No one knew nothing. Like I had one friend who I would talk to, Muhammad, my boy Mo.
Shout out Mo.
Y'all know him. That was my man.
Everyone knows Mo, by the way. I told you off camera, but I asked my Discord for some questions to ask you, and there was so many people talking about Mo and Roman. Like, your friends are like in the FaZe lore.
But like in high school, I had one real friend, real homie. Like I mean, like friend, like someone I could talk to, text. Like, we would go work out. That was Mo. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I didn't talk to no one. No one really knew my name.
Really, all the way up until your junior year,
bro. No one really like. Yeah.
See, that's crazy to me as your friend, knowing your personality. Like,
I was a lot like more quiet and shy, and like a lot more. I don't know. I think about it a lot. I think just I was younger, obviously, and I just didn't have enough experience in different like social settings and things like that. So that's why I was a lot more comfortable on the game.
Yeah.
Like that's where I developed a lot of like that sounds crazy, but like social skills and like how to like hold a conversation with someone and respond in certain way. Like
same.
And I would go in IRL and I just like didn't know, like, you know, I would be scared and nervous because I didn't feel comfortable.
Yeah.
But Mo was my man's. But up until my senior year, no one knew. No one knew that I was a YouTuber and that I made videos and that I had like, I don't know, like 300-400K at the time until
that's crazy.
Until the one video I made calling these two girls, I called them stupid.
Oh, no.
Bro, it wasn't anything crazy, but like we played this game called Senior Assassins. Long story short, I was making videos every day. So I would pretty much go home and talk about whatever happened that day, if there was a story. Because sometimes there'd be cool stuff to talk about. Sometimes I'd be like, oh, I can't wait to go home and tell this story and upload this video. But something happened pretty much in this game I would play. It's called Senior Assassins, where like you're with a partner. Mo is my partner. There's a prize pool of like a couple $1,000. If you get shot with a water gun off campus, you get eliminated. Anyways, they like lied and said that I got shot with a water gun, all this stuff. Like I didn't. I had my floaties on. I was in my car. And like I told the story. And when I told the story, it was like fresh after it happened. So I like came home and I was like,
you were pissed.
Still turned up. I'm like, I can't believe these. I can't believe these. Tried a lot. I was wilding though. I should not have been speaking like that. I was mad. And then pretty much what happened, how everyone in my school found out is, I told you this was a game all the seniors played, right?
Yeah.
So when someone got eliminated, this page would post a photo of the senior that got eliminated and be like
eliminated.
Like whatever the person's name is, eliminated. they posted the YouTube link
Oh
and said
no.
disqualified unsportsmanlike conduct.
Oh,
To the link to my YouTube video.
So your whole
Everybody in my school saw this. I'm telling you, for years they had no idea.
That's crazy. That is probably such a crazy like lore in people's lives. Like people that went to high school together, like that moment of watching that and being like, wait, what?
Bro,
Even those girls.
bro,
Sure, they
yes.
still talk about that.
One of
low-key.
them was in my English class. Bro, I was in the gym. I remember being with Mo, and he's like, bro, do you see this? Because I think I had noties on for that page. Or one of us did. So, like, we would know if, like, like something happened. And I'm, like, sitting there like, oh, my God. And the next day at school was crazy. The next day was the craziest part because they got posted, like, at, like, night, the afternoon. And I just remember going to school the next day. And I'm like in certain classes. Like I told you, I didn't talk to no one. I had one homie who I really would like kick it with, whatever. Other than that, I would headphones in, chilling, go do my work, go home. I'm in like English class and I'm hearing my voice being played through people's iPhones in like six people. A lot of people don't even know I'm in this class.
Yeah.
That's how like ghost I was. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah.
like I'm like sitting in the back of the class. I'm hearing my voice being played through people's iPhones, and then like people are talking about it amongst each other before the class. Like, do you see this? Like, and it was like one of two things. People were either like, yeah, like that was up, like on Sportsman, like yeah, he should have got bounced, or it was like, nah, like that was mad funny. Like what? Like I saw that video, and I started dying. Like people had like split opinions, but it was just weird being in school, like hearing a YouTube video being played by like your classmates.
Like you got it revealed to the whole school.
Yes.
What was it like after that? Were people like cool with your channel? Were people giving you, making fun of your videos, or like how did people react after that?
I mean, for sure. I mean, some people thought it was cool, and other people thought it was like lame and like a nerdy thing to like play Call of Duty and make YouTube video. Like it wasn't seen as like a cool thing back
Definitely
then.
not. Yeah.
Like now it's like, oh, you want to be a streamer? That's cool. Like there's esports classes being taught in colleges. Parents like push for their children to like pursue streaming if that's what they want to do. Back then, it was like if you're making content, filming yourself on the game, you're a nerd.
Yeah.
Like I kind of was a nerd, but like people would let me know. Like they're like, yeah, like this, and like some teachers, like even teachers, like had like
that's
weird
so
animosities about it.
Nobody
Some people
wanted
thought
to
it
be a
was
streamer
cool, some
right
people
now.
thought it was
Trying to
weird. But
fucking
after
make
that,
bread.
and then I
Watching
started vlogging more, and like I would vlog in high school and
all
make
of them
videos. Like I would film like my senior year, like classes, stuff like that, and like my day in the life, like at the gym, editing, going out to eat. So like to answer your question about like what was it like, it was crazy for sure because I just remember how everyone will act. Like I was in school with these people for like 4 or 5 years, and
5 years.
like
Oh, you're saying before high school?
yeah, like
It's like, did you repeat your senior year or something? We don't know.
no, like
about-
8th grade,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
8th grade.
Yeah, no, here.
But like, and then like I never had no conversation with them. They never followed me. And now it's like I'm a senior. And now it's super up. I'm getting 100K subs a month.
Yeah.
Now people are like, yo, like, what's good? Like, I could get a shout out on Twitter. Like, you can follow me. Like, you can help me start my YouTube channel. It's like, what?
So that was your first kind of experience of that. I
Yeah.
mean, we've had a lot of that now, unfortunately, over the last decade. Those weird relationships. Where
Yeah.
people are looking for something, or the opposite when you have nothing, they disappear. But like that was your first, probably time seeing that happen in front of, like live.
Yeah,
Someone
in
really
real
opened for you. You could tell they're trying to use you. You know what I mean?
In real time, yeah, seeing people like who you would see every day, and now they're like, oh, this way he does. Okay, now I feel like I should go talk.
We're friends now.
Like now we're cool. Like now we're friends. Like what?
Well, that was only a couple months, right, until you graduated.
Yeah, it was like 4 or
Okay.
5 months where it was crazy. Where it was like 800-900K all the way up until a mil right before I graduated.
That's
right
so
after I graduated.
So crazy. I know you spoke about your teacher, like as your senior year, you had to write kind of like your dream, right? Or what was
Yeah.
it? know you've told that story, but for the people who haven't heard it, you had to write what you wanted to do after high school.
Yeah, it was.
To your point of the teachers were kind of being weird with you, or one of the teachers was pretty direct, right? Did she kind of tell you how dumb your dream was?
That was at the beginning. This was like September, October. It's like a senior checkout form. It's like, all right, what colleges do I apply to? What are my plans for after school? Like, am I going to the military? Like, am I taking a gap year? And I mother, and I wrote. It's on my Instagram. Moving to a house in New York with 5 friends, making a video, something like that. And I went in, and like I remember my physics teacher, who I actually really love, by the way. She was always very nice. But she saw that and she was like, "You gotta start taking life serious. Like, this serious is not a joke." Like, and I'm like, I am taking it serious. I know something. That's what I'm doing. And I get called to my counselor's office like, the next day, and my parents are in there waiting too. I'm like, I get like blindsided.
What?
I'm like, what's going on?
Your mom's hyped, huh? She's like, I've been telling him for years.
Yeah, they're in there like this, like my senior shit up on the desk is like, you gotta start colleges and taking some initiative and like think about the future. And I'm like, yo, I am doing all of this.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here trying to like tell them without sounding crazy.
So that was before the whole explosion within your high school.
This was this was before I had started vlogging in my high school and stuff like that. When it was time to leave, my English teacher was like, yo, like you're supposed to write like a senior essay, like a checkout essay about, I don't know if it was like about your plans or like about your future, what it is. And instead of doing an essay, I asked my teacher, I was like, can I make a video? Can I make videos? And I'm like, I'm not going to college. I can make a video and like summarize it and like commentate it. It's like, yeah, sure. I was working so hard on this video. I'm talking like 12 hours just to strictly like keep videos and like clipping.
Oh, you made like a story.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I still have it, and like finding data and analytics and numbers and like I worked more at the time, especially on this video, than I did any video at the time. And it wasn't a video I was posting.
Yeah.
So unlisted video for a school project, and I showed it in front of the class, and my teacher gave me like a D on it.
No way.
Or a C. This piece.
No way.
It was a good video too. I'm like so mad, bro. He's like, yeah, like it was missing something. And that was
he was a critic, huh?
Bro, it was one of the teachers that had like hidden animosity towards me because he knew I was making money. He knew I was on YouTube. And then I went back to the school and did like a speech like after I graduated, like 2-3 years later, for one of those like Nissan documentaries.
Oh, okay.
And I went to his classroom. It might have been 2 years after I graduated. 3. I went back to his classroom, and I remember he was like, I'm an author. Like, I want you to like, could you like shout out my book?
No way.
It's like, you think like this is my book I'm writing? Like, I could sign it and like you could show it on your video. You serious? I did not forget what you did. I'm not even gonna name drop him, but yeah.
What did you say to him though? Yeah, sure. Did you
I
just
probably
play
just
it
did
off?
one of those like, oh yeah, I got you. Yeah.
That's hilarious. That quick, man.
Bro.
How quick did they turn around? That's hilarious. That's a funny story. You got a D on that project. You got some haters in high school.
Bro, hella haters, bro.
Your mom was hyped in the principal's office. Like,
I'm thinking about it. Like,
get this kid to college.
Damn, who was on my side?
Okay, so
besides the guys.
So after all this, your mom, how did you convince your mom? Because right after that, you moved to New York. Very soon after.
I mean, I didn't convince my mom. I just knew that once I graduated, legally, you can't tell me what to do.
Oh, because you're 18.
Yeah, and I'm like, I'm gonna turn 18 over the summer, and I'm going with or without your support. Like, I'm not like, it's not like,
yeah.
You can't tell me no. You told me I have to finish high school, and I'm cool with finishing high school. Because Norton didn't finish high school. My mom would always bring that up.
Oh, really?
My mom be like,
your mom was tapped in.
My mom is, you're not gonna be like Norton. You're finishing high school. I don't know what Norton's doing. And I brought it up earlier, but I like grazed past it. Norton could tell you this. There was a day when me and Norton were on Skype, because we would sit on Skype and chill and play FFA or whatever. And my mom came down, started like screaming at me about this or something, and like brought his hand. And it like turned into one of those things where we started like full blown like screaming at each other, like back and forth. And I remember like after it was all over, I came back and like Norton wasn't even in the call. He was like, bro, I can't even sit here. You could ask him. I don't remember what it was about, but I'm pretty sure she even brought his name up in that argument. But I remember sitting my mom down and having Banks talk to her.
Really?
And Banks and Norton both talked to my mother about like the phase thing and what we were doing. I don't think it like swayed her decision, but you were like, how did I convince her? I didn't. I was just like, it was a thing where it's like, okay, once I turn 18 after I graduate, I'm gone. I'm going with or without your support. So let me know. You know what I mean? And then moving away from home, I will say, like once I did move, that's what made our relationship a lot better. You know what I mean? Once you realize like that, like you're not seeing your mom every day. She's not in your life every day.
That's one of those we don't really, I don't know about you. I mean, myself, that was rough for me at first. I feel like we all kind of went through that at the same time. Getting away from family it's not easy, man.
Yeah.
To move across the country, and you get a little emotional, and you didn't realize that you had it. You had those emotions in you. But moving out was rough. So that kind of fixed some of that relationship. You're saying?
Yeah, it was like that's what I think made our relationship a lot better and made me realize, wow, like it's always came from a place of love.
Yeah.
It just was like the way I was receiving it. You know what I mean? It looked different. And like I said, now like everything's amazing. Like I love my mom. She's Buddhist, kindest, and like shout out to my mom if watching this.
I'd be honored if she's watching this.
Yeah,
she's awesome.
Maybe, I doubt it, but
come on, man, tap her in.
I sent her
need some
link.
views, man.
Now we have like a great relationship, and I really think that moving away from home and us separating and like that's what brought us closer. Like ironically,
that's dope. You moved in. You know, the Phase House in New York, I moved in November 2014, which is kind of when it...
Bridget, you are a brilliant woman. With 2 wonderful children, embrace the chaos.
We're going to die!
We're not going to die. We're having fun!
Darling, you need to get back out there. Bridget Jones, always exciting. How's the skirt?
Oh my god! Hello, old friend.
It's not enough to survive. You've got to live.
Was that the Dalai Lama?
Just Harry Styles, I think.
Love you, is that okay?
At Planet Fitness, no 2 members are alike, but they all have one thing in common. They're all strong.
That's right.
We're all strong on this planet. Planet Fitness.
One more, everybody.
One more? I got 5 more.
started.
Yeah.
We just passed 10 years since we moved in. You moved in when? Do you remember when? I know it was 2015, but...
I visited for the first time June 2015.
No way.
And I didn't move until like July or August.
That's so crazy.
Because I told you I didn't want to move. Like I graduated and I had that summer.
Dude, I don't remember the Phase House without you in it. Or Blaziken in it. But there was... You told me there's 8 months before you were there. That's crazy. I can't remember you not being there.
No, bro. There was y'all lived there for like a whole 5 months, and I remember.
No, dude, that's like 8 months.
Yeah, I didn't visit for the first time until June, like after my birthday.
After you graduated.
After I graduated and after my birthday,
June 5th.
right? Yeah,
Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know you don't remember mine.
it's June. No, it's May.
No, it's June, you piece of crap. It's June. We're both in June.
Norton's is May 29th. Yours is June.
Every year I text this guy on June 5th. I know his birthday. He
No,
doesn't
I know
my
your birthday.
birthday.
June 14th. I had like a 1 in 30.
It's okay, man.
What is it?
I'm not telling
No,
you.
you're about to make me look like L friend,
No,
bro.
no, you're not L friend. It's
bro.
You're
no way,
W.
but the 5th is like an easy number, bro.
Okay.
You have a hard number.
It's okay. Listen.
What's the number?
It's the 20th. The 20th.
Oh,
It's fine. It's fine, man.
It's not a hard number.
I might
either.
cry on my way home in the car, but we're good.
Bro.
Listen, wait, hold on. What were we talking about here? Oh, you visited. But what was that like moving in? You saw the Phase House for like 8 months unfold before moving in. So I mean, what was
Bro,
that?
what's going on over there? Y'all did the same things really that y'all were doing at your setups. And I remember I would get on Discord with Norden, and he would just like, Norden hated it, and I'm pretty sure you hate. And like every day was like, yo, I want to move out. I'm not with this. This is not it. I'm hearing like this is going on. This is going on. It's this issue. It's this issue. I'm like, damn, y'all, can y'all sit tight? Like I'm on the way. Like I have to
You
finish.
came in and you saved the day.
Like I
bro.
have to finish high school, and then like that's what's funny. You're like, I can't remember the 8 months before you moved in. I don't remember it either because you guys weren't really. It was just
Bro,
you. It was just you and Norden.
Yeah, there's some an Advanced Warfare just came out. To the cherry on top, one of the most disgusting CODs I've ever played. So I'm sitting there making Advanced Warfare cut comms in the phase house with snow for the first time in my life, hating my life. Banks is punching walls. Me and Rain were beefing, not even talking to each other.
It's like one of those things like where you talk about with your homies and you're like, oh, I'm down. Like,
Yeah.
we'll see if it happens. And it ended up happening, right? And then Norton dropped out and moved in. Then you moved in. And I'm like the timing's like a little bad right now. Like,
Yeah.
I can't go,
I'm
y'all.
in high school.
Like, I have to finish high school and my mom will literally kill me.
Yeah.
She already kind of wants to kill me. So, like, now this might, like, cushion it a little bit.
Definitely, there were some rough times that people maybe didn't know about. Did you have any rough moments? I mean, you moved in happily after graduating high school, but were there any times in the New York house that you kind of like had similar feelings that I just told you that I had and I know Rain had, or any struggles there that you never really, people maybe didn't know at the time?
I mean, never, like, internally, like, with the house or anybody. Like, it was never a thing where I was like, damn, I don't want to live here, or I don't want to wake up every day and, like, be in a house with my closest friends making YouTube videos and playing Call of Duty. And, like, it was never that for the most part. You know what I mean? I mean, I think maybe towards the tail end, like, mentally, like, I was, like, I had just gotten out of a relationship. And I remember at the time, I was, like, really torn up over it. But at the same time, I was, like, still making YouTube videos. So I was trying to,
Because
like,
that was all public on your YouTube as well.
yeah, so like I remember trying to figure out like, okay, I gotta still make YouTube videos, but I don't feel good, but I still gotta make videos. So it was like a weird thing, you know what I mean? So I would still do it, but then I would stop and I would just be like, damn, like I would just lay in bed all day. I remember like watching the entire series of Gotham in like 2 days. And like then I would just watch another show or another and just never leave my room. You know what I mean?
In the New York house?
Yeah, but that was like kind of towards the end of it. Other than that, though, like nothing like internally, like where I was like, damn, like
Yeah.
I don't like the house. Like for the most part, it was pretty straightforward.
Thankfully I think the whole time in New York, there was really no beef in the house. Like, again, me and Rain early on had some like unspoken beef, but like I feel like everyone really got along. Obviously, there were some crazy moments. I mean, again, Banks, you know, love him to death, but you know.
Oh yeah, when he got kicked out of the crib, I remember that.
I wasn't even there. I forgot about that.
I sat and I watched it from the window of the Faye's house living room. Like,
Can you explain what you saw?
I just remember I wasn't a part of any of the conversations or like I didn't hear like it was like a thing like everybody else like was more tapped in. So like I would like hear bits and pieces through what other people were saying. It was like, oh, he's here and he's acting like this. Or I just talked to Tommy and he's like in Norway wilding, or he's at the airport doing this. And they're like, okay, just send him home to Boston. But he didn't want to go to Boston. He wanted to come to the FaZe house. He was like, I want to come to the FaZe house. He like got picked up from the airport and his family was driving him to the FaZe house. But when he got to the FaZe house, he got 5150'd, I'm pretty sure, right?
Yeah.
Like
which this is by the way, I wasn't even referring to this, but this is an insane thing that happened that we didn't really ever talk about. I mean, he's talked about it, but 5150, for whoever doesn't know, it's like where you basically are deemed mentally like unfit. So you get put into like a mental hospital for 3 days, I think only is, at least in California.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have some experience with this rule with FaZe's history multiple times. But it's in California. I think it's 3 days. So yeah, he kind of went, I guess, a little manic, right? This was actually, you know, we skipped a lot of history here, but like this is when, you know, former CEO, you know, snaky guy came in.
Yeah.
This is when like the company kind of started really becoming incorporated and it started becoming this bigger thing. And yeah, Banks was like, this guy's like, I don't even know how to describe him, but like he just like milked Banks for anything he could.
Oh, 100%.
And he flew him to Norway and Germany and whatever. And yeah, Banks kind of like just didn't sleep for multiple days and
Yeah, it was
had like a very public mental, I don't even know what to call it, bro. But it was unfortunate. Obviously, my guy had like the biggest bounce back of all time. We talked about in the ESPN 30 for 30. We spoke about this, whatever. But the other guy behind the scenes was kind of just called. That was such a weird moment, bro.
Yeah. The
CEO, and that was just such an interesting time. And we ended up moving to LA very soon after. But before we go into California, this is in the New York house. Couple you know, again, like I don't want to harp on it too much, but you know, clearly, I think you referenced it earlier that you crying for me in the snow.
Yeah.
Very viral clip. I still see it tweeted at me every day.
Yeah.
I don't know what, you know, I never asked you this, but why the hell did you even get that idea to make that video? Someone in my Discord wanted me to ask you this, and I'm like, you know, that's a good question.
Oh,
because
no,
I have
bruh.
seen this for years, but I know we were just making videos, but how did you make yourself cry is my question.
I would make all time. I would try.
How'd you make yourself cry? You watched something. You must have watched
I think I was
something.
either listening to sad music or watching like a sad they weren't called that at the time, but like a sad core edit of like TV shows I would watch with like sad moments. So I'd sit there and I would like watch this, or it was music, and I would just like in my head think about terrible things. Sound super dark, but I would like think about terrible things, and then I would start crying,
And then you'd record.
and then I'd be like, all right, bet G7 next. But the issue with that was like I would realize what I was doing while I was filming, so I would get like a minute off, and I'd be like, I'm not crying anymore.
Yeah.
So I'd have to stop, hit record, put it back down, and then start crying again, and boom, pick the camera up. So like that, the process of filming that, it wasn't like a one take, like I'm crying all the way through. It was like, all right, I got tears flowing, I can film right now, and now they're stopped, so now I have to cry again. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think I was just like listening to sad music.
Yeah, that's funny. That's a legendary clip still getting tweeted. To this day.
Yeah.
After New York, you know, moved to Newport, big house. We were dreaming of like a nice house in California, and it was a beautiful house.
Such a nice, still to this day, my favorite home I've ever lived in.
Yeah, that was like a dream house. It was very fun. I think for so many years, I look back at that time as just like I just blocked it all as like a negative. But like, dude, honestly, there was a lot of fun in that house. I really enjoyed. I think the first 2-3 months, like that time was a lot of fun.
Up until the apocalypse.
The apocalypse did hit and hurt us all. But whenever I talk about this time, I feel like this was just an interesting point in all of our lives where we all reached the age of like 20, 21.
Yeah.
So you kind of start growing up as a human, and your interests start, you know, going in a million places. So like, I don't remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember one party ever thrown in the New York house.
No.
Or I don't remember anyone ever going out or ever doing anything except grinding.
That never happened, no.
Right? And I think when we moved to LA, people started making friends. People started, you guys all, we saw your pictures. Hold on. I'm not going to show them all, but we got pictures like this, right? This is LA, right? In LA, like you guys started buying designer and jewelry. It was the music that you guys were listening to at the time, I think, really impacted.
For sure.
But so everyone kind of grew up and started just, I think, not growing apart necessarily in some ways, but everybody had their interests. I always say that. I just think it was like, you know, after grinding, like you just said 500 days in a row of making video. We did that for so many years. I think it was a natural thing that happened in California. But what is your general feeling of that house in Newport? And like, what do you feel about that house? Obviously, we're not going to compare it to New York. Clearly two different times, but like, yeah, what do you feel about that era?
I loved that house, and I loved the content I made in that house. I think that was when I made like my best YouTube videos, when I really went on like a good run on YouTube. That's like when I know I would post videos every day, and I had that like streak where I did that. But I think the quality of content that I was making in that house, like I put way more into, and like I cared way more about the actual video itself. I was having a lot of fun doing the things I was doing. Like I went to Chernobyl for a video.
Crazy. That's so crazy.
I remember I was like, I made a video. I was like, if it gets 300K, like we're going to Chernobyl. That's where a nuke went off, and it's radiated, and people are not supposed to go there. I went there for a YouTube video, bro. Me and Roman, and like I was making skits, and like I started trying. Like I hired like cops to like fake arrest us and like do an interrogation, and like wrote like a script for it, and then like if I did a vlog, like I would plan stuff out for that vlog, and then I would edit it. Like when I think of that house, I think of like really like honing in and like on like YouTube and like actually making videos and like being proud of like the video that I was making. And I think like that was my best era.
You hit it. You reached a new level. I think most people at that point, at a certain point, kind of like, I don't want to say got demotivated. Maybe other factors that happen with phase or personal or just stop making videos in general. But you never, again, you kind of turned it up for sure. You were, I think, different in that house. I mean, I look back and I still made I don't know if I still used to post every day, but I look back at my channel, like, dude, I had so many videos in that house too that I don't even, like, my memory is so bad that I don't even really remember what I was doing. But I definitely remember you going to Chernobyl and stuff like that, you were pushing the boundaries. I don't think people were really doing stuff at that time for sure.
It was all I was doing was like, I would be up for days at a time.
Yeah.
On a video, like editing videos, like myself, like cutting them like at 3, 4 in the morning, sending like a Google Doc of like, I would have like a whole structure of how I would do it and shoot the video. And then like I would edit it myself and then like cut it down myself and send it to T-Wop and then send him a Google Doc of like, okay, here's the timestamp. I want this here, this here, this here, this here. And then he would add his own on top of that and send it to me. And I would post it and I was like, okay, on to the next one.
Yeah.
And some days I would finish all of that and it would be like 7, 8. I would see the sun and I'd be like, all right, I'm going to stay awake. And I would just push through, like stay awake 2 days at a time. It was really bad and really unhealthy. But
yeah, that era is also, again, like that's when we had this new structure being formed around FaZe. For anyone that doesn't know, you know, the CEO that we've all spoken about, and I've never said his name, but I know Rain's been throwing his name loose recently.
for sure.
But he came in and whatever, started structuring the business. So it was really interesting at that time because this is where I got scammed for a good amount of money. But like, you invested in their company too?
Yes. He wanted me to double it too at like the last
Yeah,
second.
this guy
That's
was
the worst human being I've ever met.
Yeah, and we'll get to a reason you're saying that. You have very valid reasons to say that. But this guy came in and, you know, we were kind of still making YouTube videos a little different, but we started having this company built around us. Obviously, like, we let him in, right? At the end of the day, we allowed this guy to kind of take this position. But I remember sitting in Rain's room.
I don't know who he is, but yeah.
I'm just saying we for all of us. I mean,
I always rode with it anyways.
Same.
I just trusted. I was like, y'all know better than me.
Same. Unfortunately,
so if y'all trust him, I trust him. You know
yeah,
what
I mean, me and Rain have talked about the first time he got brought up, and we looked at each other like, this is not the move, but we did it, and whatever. I remember sitting in Rain's room while he's breaking down the company, he's doing his ownership. This guy was raising money for like the new, you know, Facebook, new social media, and he was basically funding FaZe through it with the promise that FaZe was gonna market. It was like this whole scheme. But, you know, it's one of those things where you know this guy's weird and we're kind of getting scammed, but, like, we're too deep. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The point I'm bringing all of this up is this happened, and Banks kind of slowly started coming back into the picture at this point.
Yeah.
But he didn't come to the FaZe house. He had his own house, Clout House. Obviously, that whole era is something that everyone knows about. But when this house kind of fell apart, the Newport house, but you moved into another FaZe house.
Yeah. I got my own FaZe house.
So what was that one like? Because I feel like this is where things started kind of going downhill for you, maybe personally.
Yeah,
and that
sure.
He about the first time he got brought up, and we looked at each other like, this is not the move, but we did it, and whatever. I remember when we spoken about, and I've never said his name, but I know Rain's been throwing his name loose recently.
For sure.
But he said his name, pushing the boundaries. I don't think people were really doing stuff at that time for sure.
It was all I was doing was like, I would be up for days at a time.
Yeah.
On a video. Started trying, like I hired like cops to make it TV shows I would watch with like sad moments. So I'd sit there and I would like watch this, or it was music, and I would just like in my head think about terrible things. Sound super dark, but I would like think about terrible things, and then I would start crying,
And then you'd record.
and then I'd be like, all right, bet G7X. Wow.
In California. But what is your general feeling of that house in Newport? Like, what do you feel about that house? Obviously, we're not going to compare it to New York. Clearly, two different times. In Rain's room.
I don't know who he is, but yeah.
I'm just saying we for all of us.
I always rode with it anyways.
Same.
I just trusted. I was like, y'all know better than me.
Same. Unfortunately,
so if y'all trust him, I trust him. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
me and Rain have talked about the first time he got brought up, and we looked at each other like, this is not the move, but we did it, and whatever. I remember sitting in Rain's room while he's breaking down the company, he's doing his ownership. This guy was raising money for like the new, you know, Facebook, new social media, and he was basically funding FaZe through it with the promise that FaZe was gonna market. It was like this whole scheme. But, you know, it's one of those things where you know this guy's weird and we're kind of getting scammed, but, like, we're too deep. You know what I mean? It is what it is. The point I'm bringing all of this up is this happened, and Banks kind of slowly started coming back into the picture at this point.
Yeah.
But he didn't come to the FaZe house. He had his own house, Clout House. Obviously, that whole era is something that everyone knows about. But when this house kind of fell apart, the Newport house, but you moved into another FaZe house.
Yeah. I got my own FaZe house.
So what was that one like? Because I feel like this is where things started kind of going downhill for you, maybe personally.
Yeah,
in
for
that
sure.
house. So, you know, you've spoken about not being able to make videos in that house and some things that happened in that house. But can you give some background on that house and why you think that guy's the worst guy in the world? Because stuff, right? If I'm remembering correctly, this is kind of where you had some bad experiences with him. And
Yeah, to say the least. I mean, to like, I think it's important to preface it like you're like what your experiences with the house. Before I even had that house, to get that house, I met with him in like April or May when everyone, like you said, was kind of slowing down. Like people had their reasons. Like people were like not really motivated to do YouTube. The ad apocalypse just hit. Like everyone has different interests. I turned it up though. I was like, no, I'm going harder. And I met with him. I'm like, listen, I don't know what the plan is when this lease is up, but if it's up, like I want to be able to get my own crib and I want it to be in LA and I want to be able to put who I want in there, people who want to make videos and push FaZe forward. And I pretty much want the ball in my hands. You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying. And he's like, bet if you show me that you can do this and that you're serious about it, I got you. I showed him, I did it, I got the crib. I remember speed running, moving everything from Newport to this crib, like in 3 trips in my range, boom, back, boom, drop it off, boom, 1 hour back, boom, 1 hour this way. And I get in, like I get everybody in the crib, I have a whole plan, and he's like, actually, yeah, you can't post videos in the crib. He's like, yeah, I don't want people to think FaZe is splitting up. And like I look back at this, I'm like, damn, I don't know why I didn't fight this. Like, I don't know why I didn't fight this harder.
he literally just, I don't even remember.
I remember
this.
we sat in a call, all of us sat in a call, all the FaZe members, like from the like OG house, and we're like, all right, what are we doing? Because like half of y'all wanted to move to Calabasas, you were trying to go home.
Yeah.
I was in LA, Banks was over here.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of like this. No one seemed. So he's like, how about we don't do anything? Adapt. You can't post. Don't do no videos. Don't do no content in that house. Don't reveal it as a FaZe house or nothing until we figure out what's going on with everybody else. So people don't get the idea that like FaZe is splitting up, which is so stupid. You know what I mean? And I was just like, okay, yeah, bet. And I just didn't post videos. And I was like in this house, just so miserable, like doing nothing, just sitting in bed all day, like waiting for the green light, you know?
It's so insane looking back. Like, why did we like listen to it? Like in these moments to this random dude, right? Like what? Like I can't even imagine someone saying don't post videos on your YouTube channel and like, okay, I'm not gonna. Again, I always look back and like I said, we were young. I give ourselves some break sometimes. We were young, inexperienced and all that, which is all true. You know what Stockholm syndrome is? Where you're like held captive, but like not you're in love with her. It's a little more extreme, but like, dude, this guy was just like had everyone. He had some like magic spell on everyone. I don't know how he convinced everyone. He's just one of those soothsayers
He's
with
a
the
master
tongue.
manipulator.
Yeah, with the tongue.
And especially because we were young, bro. We didn't have like experience.
Yeah, and he's raising hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars, and
Yeah.
like this is where we started getting these false promises first, I think. And it's like, dude, when you're 20 years old and you got some dude like acting like you're holding, you're just gonna be good. We're gonna make it, and it's not even like, oh, we're gonna, it's not even like this is you're gonna sell, cash out, and leave. Like they're putting money into the company, invest in our company. It's gonna be worth so much money. Look at this investment. It was our first look into like what the investing and like listen, we didn't know what any of that meant. So this guy just came in at such an opportune time. I can't even believe. I don't even. It's just a shocking thing to think about how he even found his way from freaking Norway here. But yeah, it's pretty insane. So you got put in that house. The guy told you can't make any videos. So what happened after that? Like, what did you do? I know you had a pretty dark time.
Yeah, I mean, that was really like what sparked like a sequence of events that were just, I can't describe as anything other than just like that whole year was so awful, bro. 2018, the first year I lived in LA. Oh my God.
I mean, I have some things that I know happened, and I'm sure there's stuff I'm missing out on.
Yeah.
But I think one of the first things, correct me if I'm wrong, is you've talked about it recently, your seizure story.
Mm-hmm.
Can you?
I'm losing weight and feeling confident thanks to hers. I got prescribed compounded GLP-1 injections, which have the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy. Through hers, I get a reliable supply I can count on with temperature-controlled delivery. I chose hers because they know that everyone's body is different, and they take the time to understand your health history, lifestyle, and goals. They provide access to personalized treatment plans. Plus, their app has custom in-app tools to keep you on track. Everything is done 100% online. I wish I knew about hers sooner.
Everyone who comes into this clinic is a mystery. Their bodies are the scene of the crime. Their symptoms and history are clues.
You saved her life.
We're doctors and we're detectives.
I know you've probably talked about it on stream recently, but for the people that haven't seen it, can you give some background on what that is? Because to my understanding, you could have easily been dead if you didn't, if certain things didn't happen, right?
Yeah, I think so. I think so. And I think about it a lot too, because I would normally have been at that point when I had the seizure, I was in my bed all day, blinds all the way down, in my room, not talking to no one, not on the phone, just all I wanted to do was sleep. All I wanted to do was sleep, bro, and just wake up when it was better. So I was taking it every single day. And I remember it was January 1st, and I realized I'm bro, this is bad. I wasn't talking to no one about it either. I was taking I was taking drugs. I was on drugs, taking pills. You know what I mean? Every single day, I don't know. In my head, how I can even justify it, other than I was just so bored and so miserable and had nothing to do, and also no one to turn to or
we didn't even
look
get
at me
it.
and be like, yo, this is not how you're supposed to deal with
All
it
right.
like this. There's
20
other ways
minutes.
to go forward. And so I was taking pills
Hell
every single
nah,
day.
bro. I gotta play
And,
scrims.
I remember
I'm
realized
streaming
it was bad,
FNCS.
on the new year, January 1st. We had been in the crib for a week or two at the point. I'm like, bro, I gotta stop
Can't
this.
find
It's bad.
Axe. What the fuck?
This is bad. So I try to.
Whenever my
I try
duos
to
aren't on, though,
stop.
I'll play with
And I
y'all,
remember it was
of
the
course.
second or third day of January, and I couldn't do it. The withdrawals were
where's
crazy.
my
My
studded
head was
axe?
pounding. I felt sick. I'm like, nah, I can't do this. I can't do this. So I started taking pills again, and like I said, every day was just me in my
let's go
room,
on it in
and I was
20
getting
minutes.
high, just watching the
So it's
TV.
after
Mindless.
the
I don't
turn,
even remember.
after
I don't even remember. I was just doze off, fall asleep, wake up. I'm awake. Okay, I'm trying to go back to sleep. Boom, boom,
I'm
boom.
about to go
Back
take
to
that
bed. Blinds down all the time. It's blackout dark in my room. And then this one day, I ordered food. I ordered Shake Shack, and I went down the stairs to grab
shit
it.
drip is bad.
And my room was its
Nah,
own
it's not,
floor,
bro.
Right? You've been in the crib.
Yeah.
It's
It was
still
its own
bugging.
floor, completely separated from everyone else in the crib. So I had to walk down the stairs to the garage to meet the Postmate, grab the Shake Shack, and then I went back in the stairwell to go up to my room. But I heard Nikon and Clark playing 2K, or I just heard them in the theater. And I was like, you know what? I can't remember the last time I left my room or went and saw any of the guys or anything like that. I'm like, all right, let me eat. I'm just gonna eat this in the theater and then go up to my room. So I went in the theater to eat my meal, and that's the last thing I remember. Don't remember having a seizure or passing out. The only thing I remember is sitting down and putting my Shake Shack on the ground and looking up, seeing they're playing 2K, going to eat it, and then it's a jump cut, not jump cut, hard cut. I'm in the back of an ambulance, in the back of an ambulance, you know how in the movie the black bars fade in and it's ringing in your ears and your vision's blurry. That's what it was. And I was coming to my senses, trying to figure out what's happening. And there's a ET or a medic or someone next to me, saying something. And I look to my left, and it's you could bleep his name out, but it's
Yeah, that's crazy.
it's him.
It's crazy.
It's him right there. I'm not even kidding. And I'm like, what? And he's like, it's don't worry, man. You're gonna be okay. We got you. And then I kind of doze back off. Wake up at the hospital. And I had a seizure, for sure. I had a seizure, which is really, really crazy to think about and really scary. I never had one in my life. And I don't know if it's because of if I took too much or if it was what I took or what it was about it. But I think the craziest thing about that situation, when I look back on it, is 9 times out of 10, I would have been by myself in my bedroom. My bedroom that's completely isolated from the rest of the crib, and I would have had a seizure, not around anyone. No one would have known. And that's a lot of times how people die. People have died like that in the past, and people have died like that even with people around them, because they've had seizures, drug-induced seizures or whatever it is. And I don't know, like, thank God, by the grace of God, I was not by myself. Nikon was there. And I remember him telling me he like held my head up or something. And then like they called an ambulance and they got there quick enough. I was okay, thank God. But that's like the craziest thing when I look back on it, is like, I really could have been in my room by myself at that time. And I don't know what would have happened if that was the case.
Thank God you decided to go to the theater. That's insane. I think your point that you kind of glossed over though, like waking up in the ambulance and the guy that basically, in some ways, led you to that is sitting there.
Bro.
And I know it gets worse because I remember hearing about, and I couldn't believe it because I remember driving and by where my family lives and hearing that they were saying that you overdosed or whatever. That's what the guy was saying, right? Is that you overdosed, whatever. And then I just remember hearing something about his wife driving your car.
Yeah. So that's not even the worst. Yeah. So yeah, I like had that whole thing happen, had a seizure, went to the hospital, and then he was there and he was like, listen, you don't have a choice. You're going into this like rehab center or something like that. I don't remember what it was. Some sort of like hospital clinic, all this. I'm like screaming at me. Like, I finally, by the way, my head is aching. My head is pounding. Like, I don't know if I hit my head or what's going on. I just remember my head pounding at the time. And he's like, yeah, we're first thing in the morning, we're taking you to this place and we're checking you in. We're not taking you, you're not coming home until they check you out. And if you got a problem with that, like, you could go back to Arizona and I'm pulling the plug on the phase house, pulling the lease, everyone goes home. I'm like, damn, I don't even have a choice. And also at the same time, you're not even going to ask me, like, what's up? Like, what's wrong? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, why did this happen? You're not even going to try to, like, talk to me on, like, a human level and be like, yo, are you okay? Like, are you good? Like, what happened? Like, what led to this point? Could I help you? And none of that. It was like, no. It was like, oh, you buy it. Like, and you need to go in here and fix this or you're done. And so that's what I did. I went into that like hospital or whatever, and I was in there so dark for like a week or something. I don't know. I had no phone, no like access to the internet. I was in there with like real junkies and people going through it. I remember I shared a room. Like, I was in a room. Like, I don't have a lot of memories from it. I don't know if I just like deleted them from my brain, but like I was like in a room together like this, and there was a guy who was in the room with me, but there was a curtain separating us, and he was like connected to some machine, and he was breathing mad loud, and we and him would sleep like in that room together, and it was just so like daunting, like the sound of the machine and like hearing him. And then every now and then like a nurse would like come in with like a cup, and it's like here, and then they would leave, and then
What's
I'm just
in
like
the cup?
just like pills or something, like a cup with pills that like are supposed to help you
wean off of.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? I was in there for like 6-7 days. My dad had visited me. Nikon had visited me. My cameraman, Jeff, at the time came and visited me. So I saw them and talked to them. And that was like the little bit of like actual human interaction I had. But other than that, I was like pretty quiet and like didn't really talk to anyone. I was just like, again, like I would just lay in the bed in that room and just like sleep, just try to sleep until I got out. And then I got out. And I got out and this fool crashed my car. This fool took my car while I was in the hospital and crashed it, the CEO of FaceTime. He took the car and crashed
I'm laughing because how ridiculous that is. After all of the story you just said and him yelling at you and him being the reason, basically. One of the only things he asked, did he even ask you to borrow it, or did he just tell you?
Asked
he
me
just
to borrow
took
it.
the keys.
Bro, he told Nikon, he lied to Nikon. He was like, Nikon, I talked to Adapt. He said I could use his car while he's in the hospital. A hospital, by the way, he threw me in. And the only reason I'm in there is because of a decision that he made that sent, you know what I mean? I'm not going to start like getting all that.
No, but I mean, we heard the story. It's him.
But anyways.
Obviously, like, you know, anyways, go ahead.
I get out of the hospital. I'm coming up to the crib. I open the garage. I see my Range Rover. The whole side of the Range Rover scratched. I'm like, wait a second. This is what I go in the crib. I'm like, Nikon. I'm screaming at Nikon. I'm mad at Nikon. Are you seriously? Did you take my car while I was in the hospital and crash it? He's like, bro, what? He's like, you know, Nikon, he's like, what are you talking about? Like, no, I would not do that. He's like, you said he could drive it. I'm like, you gave the car. I go out to the car. There's a baby seat. There's a car seat, like for a child in the back seat for his kid. He gave the car. He didn't take the car for himself. He gave my car to his wife. So his wife to go run errands with the kid in the backseat, and it's trash shit.
What is just this is just one of the moments with him where it's like you realize that he is the number one fraud that you will ever meet, because like this guy acted like he would constantly say stuff like, I never have to work again in my life, I just love doing this and that and this and that, and like dude, I remember, I mean, it's not as bad as this story, it's random, but I remember our Counter-Strike team. Imagine me, I'm 21 years old going to a Counter-Strike event, all the Counter-Strike pros are way older than us, I already feel like a little kid talking to them. And they're like, this guy's taking them out to team dinners and making them split the bill with him. Which maybe people, that may not sound like a big deal, but this guy's talking to everyone about how rich he is. Then he tells the players of his team, that's not what you do. Typically, you pay for the bill. He makes them split the bill. Like, there's just all these random fraud check. Like that, his car, like, could he not afford a car? He had to take yours and crash it. You can rent a car.
Bro, are you serious? I look back, I'm thinking about it now.
Work again in my life, I just love doing this and that and this and that. And like, dude, I remember, I mean, I just love doing this and that and this and that. And like, dude, I remember, I mean, it's not as bad as this story, it's random, but I remember our Counter-Strike team. Imagine me, I'm 21 years old going to a Counter-Strike event. All the Counter-Strike pros are way older than us. I already feel like a little kid talking to them. And they're like, this guy's taking them out to team dinners and making them split the bill with him. Which maybe people, that may not sound like a big deal, but this guy's talking to everyone about how rich he is. Then he tells the players of his team, that's not what you do. Typically, you pay for the bill. He makes them split the bill. Like, there's just all these random fraud check. Like that, his car, like, could he not afford a car? He had to take yours and crash it. You can rent a car.
Bro, are you serious? I look back, I'm thinking about it now, and I remember I called him and I asked him about it. And I somehow got gaslit into believing that he didn't do it.
Bro, he was
there was a car seat in the back seat of my car.
He was a master manipulator.
I forget I just let it go. I was like, oh, he said he didn't do it.
Bro, I'm telling you, Stockholm syndrome.
Bro, I'm like, oh, he said he didn't do it, y'all. Like, so I don't know, I guess.
Fast forward, but like, from what I heard, I don't know if it's true. So this is not on record but what I was told was, the way this guy got outed out of FaZe at the end of it all was he was funneling money and had his brother and his wife, the same one that crashed your car, on like salary or something. Dude,
Bro.
What a crazy, that guy is like, that's just a blur.
When I really thought he was a real deal, full screen. Remember we were with full screen?
Yeah. He made me lose so much money, by the way. Oh my God, go ahead.
So full screen was our YouTube partner network at the
Introducing Weight Loss by Hims. Personalized prescriptions, including GLP-1 injections and oral medication kits designed to help you lose weight so you can gain confidence and feel healthy. Plus, get guidance on nutrition, movement, sleep, hydration, and answers when you need them, 100% online. With Weight Loss by Hims, you have so much to lose and even more to gain. GLP-1 injections starting at $165 a month. Get started today at hims.com.
The Imperium is fragile. The great houses fight for control. We must act.
time, and I got offered my new contract.
A signing bonus, right?
New contract, and it was a signing bonus on it. And I ran it by someone like, what do you think about this? He looks at it. He's like, I could get that signing bonus tripled.
Okay.
I'm like,
did you ever get it?
I'm like, for real? He's like, yeah, I'll do it. 5 minutes later, full screen sends me a contract. The signing bonus just tripled. I'm like, oh my God, he's legit. Like,
yeah.
And like, I had already heard stories from Banks and Tommy and you and everyone.
Not
like,
me. I have a reverse story with that. But go ahead.
Like everyone's like, yeah, like he showed me this, he showed me this. I'm like, wow, I'm seeing it. So like, I think that moment in particular really like, I remember like thinking like, damn, okay, so this like.
No, that's the thing. Like, we had no experience with anybody like that. So anyone even just talking with the level of confidence he was talking would be like, okay. Yeah. I had the same thing. He wanted to bump my signing bonus from full screen. He never got it bumped. I waited for a year and then I missed out on the signing bonus. And it was a good amount of money. And I still think about it to this day because I'm just like, dude, it was
whatever he used worked
was
for
free
me.
money. Yeah, man.
He must have been after you.
I guess he didn't like me. I mean,
he
weird.
Stole all
No, that guy's a
Bro,
weird
he's a scumbag.
That guy's a weird man, weird little man. He was a little man.
He was a little fat man. He was a little fat man.
He always, every time we'd see him, he'd talk about.
He was actually fat.
Every time I saw him, he'd talk
I'm
about
visualizing him. He was chubby.
He used to talk about how he's in the gym. And
He's in the
honestly,
gym.
very interesting character. I mean, we could make an evil villain movie out.
Bro.
We really could. We should.
Does that not sound like a villain story? Like that's like a villain origin story. I got thrown in the hospital, and the man who threw me in the hospital took my car and crashed it, while also simultaneously telling me I can't do what I love to do.
Yeah. You lived.
Like what? No, he is an evil villain.
Honestly,
bro.
he should have turned you into a villain. Thank God you didn't.
That's
go.
what I'm saying. I should have gone full Joker, bro.
Yeah, you had a Joker face, but you got the tattoo on your arm. But thank God you didn't go after anyone. Nah, that guy was. Anyways, crazy. That stuff is insane. I mean, before we move on, obviously you being in the hospital without a phone for a week after all of that, like, I'm sure you came out of that with some lessons learned about yourself first and foremost, but like people around you too. Like, do you remember? Did you have did that shift the way you viewed? I mean, it must have in some capacity changed the way you looked at all the things around you. But like, I'm not sure what happened immediately after that or what the next couple months were like. But
I mean, it definitely had an effect on me. I don't think I fully processed how much though until a lot later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I tend to do that with situations like that. It's like, okay, this happening is it's whatever. It's not really a big deal. And then I think about it as time goes by and I'm like, wow, that was crazy. It definitely changed my view on a lot of things and affected me in a way. And also I was really young. I was 20 years old. I was 20 years old and overdosed and got thrown in a hospital and then got out of the hospital and got robbed 5 times.
Yeah, I was gonna get
and then
to
I got
that.
sued.
Hey,
and then I cracked my head open.
We're gonna get to that. That's what
that was so bad.
That's what's insane. The story didn't even start with that year for you.
That was quarter one.
Yeah,
we're in the first quarter, bro.
There's a lot more that happened right after this, which is insane. I look back, I'm like, dude, that was. And my whole point of wanting to kind of quote unquote rehash all of this is now we see you on Twitch, one of the bigger streamers on Twitch, and like we were speaking about, right? You're just in a great place now. I think it's one of the most impressive things to watch because there are so many moments where dude, I don't know, I'm actually curious, what were you doing in these moments? But you had this experience, which was absolutely insane. I'm sure it changed the way you viewed things. I think just really quick, just to close up on this part, whatever it was, maybe you had some sort of I don't want to say addiction. I don't know if that's.
I was definitely addicted.
Okay,
I was for sure addicted.
Because I know Okay, so for people that are maybe dealing with some form of addiction, I know you obviously last year too. You did a 7-day stream where you quit nicotine, right? So you were addicted for sure to that.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, I'm
That
sure.
more than
Unfortunately,
anything.
a lot of people watching this are probably vaping, which is a horrible habit.
So
Hitting the vape, or I don't think people use Juuls anymore. That's 2016, huh? But whatever it is, all these e-cigs and vapes, a lot of people are getting addicted very young to this, unfortunately. So for someone that overcame 2 addictions, I guess, right, you could say, one of maybe I don't know what was harder, whether it was the pills or whether it was the nicotine, but what kind of advice can you give people that are in a similar position? And by the way, a lot of people maybe don't even think they have some sort of addiction. I feel like that's probably the case a lot of
Yeah,
them.
a lot of people have that lie they tell themselves where it's oh, if I wanted to, I could stop. If I wanted to, I could quit. Even with vaping, I was oh, I don't own a vape. I just hit the homies when they're around.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's more extreme cases with more extreme addictions. But, I mean, what I would tell somebody, if you don't realize you have a problem and you don't think it's a problem, you're justifying it in your head, you're not going to stop until something extreme happens, you have a seizure or you almost die or something like that, until you're just wow, now this is real. You know what I mean? So, I mean, you have to realize that it's a problem and you can't live your life like that forever. The way that ends is not good.
Yeah.
9 times out of 10. And then, I don't know, 2, I would say being open with it, talking to people, holding yourself accountable too. What helped me with the nicotine one, the other one, I really didn't have a choice. I got thrown, I told you, I literally just got thrown into a hospital and was okay. And you go about it that way. But with the nicotine, I went public and made a documentary and researched deeply into how bad it is for your health and all the ramifications to inhaling those carcinogenic chemicals and like smoking that as frequently as I would. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna hold myself accountable and stream for the next 7 days. So if I do vape, if I do ever get caught smoking again and hit anything, nicotine, a cigarette, whatever, I'm gonna look like a straight fraud.
Yeah.
Like
our friend, our CEO.
yeah, like I'm sitting here, I'm screaming, this is horrible. Like I'm interviewing victims. I'm going into the doctor and like breathing, like doing lung x-rays. And I'm like, now I'm gonna stream for 7 days. Like I just gotta get through the 7 days. So I think accountability is a big thing. That obviously helped me. The fact that I completely burnt the bridge and was like, I have to now, I have no choice, or I'm gonna look like a fraud.
You kind of put everything on the line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank God, by the way, I look back and like, that's like the best decision I've made. One of the best decisions I've ever made, quitting nicotine, because it sparked
Streaming career.
for
Yeah.
me. Accidentally, I didn't draw it up like that. That's not how it was drawn up.
No, you were gonna be done after that.
Yeah.
It was just like you can't do a 7-day YouTube video, so you're like, I'm gonna do it live.
Yeah.
I mean, thankfully you quit that. You quit that, which is I'm more happy about.
So
that
happy.
you guys are, you're done. Hopefully, and hopefully a lot of people follow you.
No, not hopefully, I am.
No. I'm saying, sorry. I know you're done. Thank God you're done. And hopefully a lot more people follow it and kick that habit, because I think a lot of people just picked it up and not think it's a big deal, but it is a big deal, man. It's not a good thing to be.
Bro, for real, you don't have the freedom.
You interviewed someone, right? That like had his lung like popped or something crazy.
His lung popped, his lung collapsed. Like he got checked out. Like the doctors said he had a cardio. Like if they looked at his cardiovascular system and they said you have the cardiovascular system of a 70, 80-year-old man.
And how old was he?
He was like 18. He like speed ran his cardiovascular system and he was insanely unhealthy and like on a fast track
So
for
crazy.
Nothing good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even like recently, like I was out on Saturday with some friends. I was driving to like this thing, and like one of them was vaping, but the like everyone else in the car vaped, and like I'm hearing them. They're all like, "Yo, like you got it." Like, no, I gave it back to you.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, are you sure this one's dead?" They're like, "Oh, we need to stop." I'm like sitting here listening to this conversation. I'm like, "Oh my God!" Like y'all don't really realize how much of a grip this had. Like,
Yeah.
Like it's very serious, and
Yeah.
like I don't want to like harp on it and act like, oh, like. You know what I mean? Because
it's because you kicked it. That's why you can see it now.
Yeah, and I'm in the car and I'm driving. I'm like, oh my God, like like here's the vape. I'm seeing all three hands in the back seat reach for it.
It's crazy.
It's like whoa.
Yeah.
And then it's like we're on the way home. Oh, it's dead. We got to stop and grab one. I'm like, are y'all like yes? So yeah, it's bad, bro.
Yeah. So accountability and just kind of having to want to quit it.
Yeah, and having people around you
that
to
motivate.
hold you accountable too, I think is a big thing.
I think last thing, just a kind of a note from me, I guess. It sounds weird to say it that way, but I remember growing up seeing like child actors, quote unquote, go crazy, or Amanda Bynes. I'm not pointing these out to make fun of them at all. Of course, it's actually
Okay, everyone is trying to come up with crazy ways to skip ads. Like, chill, guys. Just download Pi. This Chrome extension takes 5 seconds.
actually really sad to me, but like famous actors or child actors that like have a very successful career and then like go off the rails, or like just have a really quick downfall, drugs and all that. Like I never understood it, to be honest, until these experiences happened. Until I saw like okay, your example, it's not as severe as some of the other examples. Obviously, Rain and Banks both had very public stuff as well. And it's like, what I realize is, dude, the high that you get, the natural high you get from achieving your goals, right? Like in New York, for example, just like you said, 100,000 subscribers a month, 1 million views a video at some point we were getting. And the amount of money you're making is like beyond comprehension, right? So like you're at like, by 20 years old, you've kind of not just hit your goals, you've exceeded your goals times like 10x.
Yeah.
Right? So I feel like for a lot of people after that, it's kind of like, all right, cool, what's next? I can imagine for a lot of the child actors that, like, this is just my analysis, that this happens to a lot of people. And if you don't have kind of something else that is, if your whole life is just that job or whatever it is and you kind of accomplish it, dude, it's such an empty feeling. Like
you're complete, like it's like a void inside of you. You're like completely unfulfilled.
Like what else?
You're
can
walking
I do?
around like, damn, am I 20 years old and I already did what I'm supposed to do?
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's
like, did I already like leave my mark? Is this what people are gonna forever know me for what I did when I was a teenager?
And then it's like, what's
like I'm an
now?
adult now. Like now, what do I do? Like, did I already do what I was supposed to do? Like, is everything else now? You know what I mean? Like, I would have these internal conversations and just be like, damn, like I don't know. Like I don't know.
It's very easy to kind of like start lacking purpose for some people.
But I just haven't.
I give all for myself personally. Like, I know I heavily relied on my like, friends at home that were disconnected from all of this, and family. And then for me, like honestly, my religion for me just kept me like okay. Like the main goal for me was not reaching a certain thing on YouTube, but it's like me trying to be the best that I could be in that. But I understand people that don't have an end goal. Like when you kind of complete it, it's just
I like mixed metaphors. You know what's my favorite?
I don't think people would understand it. People think it's crazy. People are like, oh, you're just
To be honest,
you're just a little kid. You made so much money. What are you complaining about? But like, it's not even about money. It's not even. It's just like you really cannot understand it. I think most people, unless you like live through it or someone near you lives through it, and it's like, dude, it's like. It's a very weird thing. Man. It's a very, very weird.
That's what I would struggle with a lot. Like I would sit in the Newport house, and I was so sad and so depressed, but I was still making YouTube videos every day. And then when I would stop making the video, I would like sit in my bed and I'd be like, why do I feel like this? I would like have like, and I'm like, I just bought my dream car. I'm living in a mansion in Newport Coast, this multi-million-dollar mansion with my best friends. Why do I feel like this? Like I should not be this sad.
Yeah.
And I'm like, am I allowed? Like, am I justified in feeling this sad? Like, that's why I never publicly would speak on it. I always just kept it to myself.
Yeah.
Because in my head, I'm like, if I ever try to talk about this, it's like, oh yeah, like you accomplish all your goals. Like your life is so good compared to somebody else's. So that's how I would think. I would be like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. It's not right.
Yeah.
So I would dismiss it and be like, just not think about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's funny that we're talking about this, like, because if you look at like the OG phase members, like a lot of us kind of had, whether it was public or not public, like situations like that.
No,
except for you.
I just told you I know I can tell you it's because the way I view life is a little different because I view it with like
we all had these like kind of like massive of like canon events almost where it's like
I know.
You know what I mean? Where you could we could sit and point to one for
for sure.
You know what I
sure,
mean?
Yeah.
This second time around, like with me making content, streaming every day, I have like so much more gratitude for it. I'm so much more appreciative of it because I remember like how I felt before. From the moment I stopped doing it, all I wanted to do was start doing it again, and I couldn't. Like I couldn't get it right. Like as soon as I would try, it was like this would happen or this would happen. So that's why like I have like. Even like all the bad shit that I just mentioned, like all the crazy things that I went through, a lot of things that I have not really talked about. I'm grateful for all of it.
Yeah.
Like that I went through all of those things because at the time, like obviously you don't see it, but I think it's for a reason. Like you go through all those things for a reason and then they make you the person that you are. You know what I mean? So you have more like depth and knowledge about certain situations, and you know how to react and like what the best. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like everything really truly happens for a reason, and like that's what led me here to where I am today.
100%. And it's we're both I think grateful that we can look back, and as hard as sometimes we're, you can pull the positives out because we are back in a positive situation. But there was definitely some dark years, I know. And can you quickly touch on the Robert?
I've been using hers for 7 months, and I have lost 40 pounds. It feels amazing.
I rubbed like 3 times.
Okay, so I started noticing missing in my house, right? In my like shoe rack, like specific shoes. And this was after I got out of the hospital. I'm not tweaking anymore.
Yeah.
I'm like, I know I'm not on drugs. I know I put my shoes here.
Yeah.
I know I put my shoes here. Where are my shoes? I'm asking everybody in the crib, where are my shoes? No one's got an answer for me. I'm like, all right, this is weird. I set up security cameras in the whole crib. And I know I had slept in this room before, and I would always like fake hear things, like kind of hear things, but I would just be like, it's a big room, it's the house. I set up security cameras, right? Because it starts missing. I go home for something. I think it was my sister's birthday or something in March. I come home, bro, to the Faze house. I was gone for like a night, 2 nights. It's so funny. I come home, nothing's there.
Yeah.
Everything that I own, that I belong, that I hold of any sort of value is gone. It's gone. I'm not even kidding. Jewelry, clothes, camera equipment, bags, like anything. I got rinsed. I'm sitting here. It's mad early. I get on my flight. I'm like, what are we doing? Are we doing a video?
Yeah.
Like, it's a prank. I'm like asking the guys. I'm like, yo, it's mad funny. Like missing like roommates, like room. Because I did kind of something like this to Lucas in New York. I'm like, I'm getting pranked.
Yeah.
No, I was not getting pranked. Everything I loved and owned and held of any sort of value, like gone. And I'm like devastated. I look in the cameras and someone broke into my house and stole everything while I was gone to Arizona. I don't know if they saw, I snapped, geotagged it, Arizona or something like that. And they were like, okay, let's go. Stole everything, bro. Everything, like $150,000 minimum, probably more, like $200,000 worth of from me. And this was like a few weeks after I got out of the hospital after my car crash. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm trying to like, okay, now I can make videos in this house after I just went through all this. Let me like get a flow going.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I can't, bro.
That's insane. The guy, they would break in multiple times in that same window, right?
I think, yeah, that's the only thing that I don't know for certain, but yeah, I'm pretty sure they had broken in before when I was in the room sleeping and stolen things, like little things, like gotten out there with a pair of shoes or this or that. And then stole everything the time I was actually not there.
So
that was pretty,
we're into March of 2018. And we've had a very eventful year. So
very
far.
unfortunate so far, first quarter.
What? There was some more robberies, right?
Yeah. So we're just getting started with the robberies, actually. So I had gotten mad that somebody got stolen. So I went and like rage bought a lot back.
Okay.
Like an idiot. I'm like, I want to go back to Rodeo and just like doubled it. Like just bought a bunch of I'm like, I'm just gonna buy it again, man. Like that's what I mean. Like I went through these things and without even realizing like the magnitude of how crazy of a situation it is, I just be like, oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
And then I look back on it like now and I'm like, yo, like I didn't even process this or like sit and take a beat to think like, yo, this is pretty like crazy. This is not normal.
Yeah.
This is not a normal 3 months.
Just really fast. When your shoes went missing, people might think you're talking about a different story, but in the Newport house.
Oh yeah,
that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna spare the time. I don't know where we're at, how long.
That's a little prequel.
There's too many stories, but we already had shoes stolen in the Newport house. We had someone that Tigo talked about it in the same seat you're sitting in. Someone that stayed at our house that was a friend who lied about his mom dying.
Yeah.
And then this guy was stealing everyone's shoes and he got caught also. So if anyone thought that was a story, that's a different steals shoeing saga. No. You got all your stuff stolen. You went to Rodeo. You said you started buying a bunch of stuff. Then what happened?
Yeah. So then I found the bag because I told you one of the things I got stolen was a Louis Vuitton bag that I had custom painted by this artist.
You didn't mention this, but I know the story obviously. But
but one of the bags that was stolen was custom painted with like a Flash themed character and like the face logo. No one else has this bag.
Yeah, it's a one-on-one.
It's a one-on-one bag, right? I see it being sold on eBay, and with one of my homies, shout out Austin. I'm looking at this. I'm like, this is my bag that's being sold. Is this guy for real? Is this a guy who robbed me? So I buy something else that this man is selling, right?
Yeah.
And I send Austin to go pick it up and like press him about it. And as soon as he did, he like started like backtracking, acting weird, and then he got up out of there. I immediately was like, oh, this fool. Go on YouTube, blast it. This guy.
Your friend recorded him.
Yeah, I mean, I had his eBay profile, so I knew what he looked like.
Okay.
And all that. And I made a video blasting, saying, oh, this man robbed me and stole from me and is a fraud and this and that. Can't like, woo, like going into detail, all of this, like mad as hell. Then I got sued for a lot of money.
A lot of money. By the guy that stole your bag?
Yeah. Allegedly stole my bag.
So he stole your bag.
The guy that allegedly stole my bag filed a lawsuit against me for a lot of things. A lot of things. A lot of
Is
things.
this like June or something? We're only at
we're not even at summer yet, brother. Sued me to the ground.
Was your dad your lawyer? You said your dad was a lawyer.
No, my dad, not this type of lawyer. Not this type of. I needed to level up. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was coming at me crazy.
Oh,
anyways,
no, man.
lawsuits, you don't know how they work. You go back and forth. You got to pay a lawyer fee every month. You know? A lot of money. A lawyer fee, it's expensive to pay a lawyer fee every month. The lawsuit went on for like 14 months. Going back and forth because he was suing me for, if I told you the number, it was like
Some gay shit.
Yo, why can't that spawn in? Fuck. Yeah, that's.
God damn it, pipe down.
Hostiles have planted the bomb. One hostile left. Take that asshole down. Quit feeling sorry for yourself. We ain't done yet. Search and destroy. Playtime's over. Let's see what you're made of.
Bum bum. Why the hell they always gotta talk shit about me? I don't do shit.
Your name's El Chapo.
I figured. Yo, I take bullets. Okay. Partners are leaving me. There's people by AP, you know.
Time's not on our side. Finish him. Bomb carrier down.
I fucking knew it.
Find him. End him. Wipe yourself down and prep for redeploy. Fight ain't over. Search and destroy.
Bum 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 bum.
Dig in and defend the objective. Hostile UAV established overhead. Enemy charges set.
Enemy spotted. Heads up, eyes on Semtex.
I landed on the fucking bench.
good enough, Black Ops. Search and destroy. Green light! Go, go, go!
Oh, from behind?
Catch myself up. Oi, enemy grenade. Enemy with Semtex.
They're gearing up for a final push. Hope you left someone to take.
What am I doing, chat? So trash.
So they knocked you on your ass. So what are you gonna do about it?
I'm gonna lock in, bro. That's.
Found you.
Search and destroy. Another day in paradise, Black Ops.
Grenade coming in. Hostile shooter.
Damn, bro, I had my mic off the whole time. Fantastic.
Shooter in my sight. Enemy planted the bomb. Hostile
Nice.
enemy UAV inbound.
Yes, I was camping in spawn. Take that and take that.
TACOM, get a UAV in the air. Hard point. Hostile counter UAV established above. Hostile UAV established overhead. Hardpoint is secure. Enemy UAV inbound. Hardpoint located. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Good to see you, fucko. Enemy Molotov, watch out!
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Captured the hardpoint.
Dead. Where are you going, mate?
Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint identified.
That's a kill.
Hardpoint is secure. Hardpoint is active.
Move up.
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down. The fuck's
Mikey
going
Molly,
on
what's up?
out there? Tighten up and show some
That
spine.
stuff's missing. Great house.
Hardpoint located.
Shit. Add spice.
Hardpoint active. Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Oi, enemy grenade! Matey, been a minute. How you going?
Got the eyes in the sky. Hardpoint is secure.
Enemy with Semtex!
Hostiles have captured the hardpoint. Hardpoint locked down.
Heads up, Molotov inbound.
Hostiles have the hardpoint.
Eyes on Semtex!
Hardpoint identified. Hardpoint is active. Hostiles have captured the hardpoint.
Just like old times. Enemy with Semtex!
Hardpoint is secure. Hostiles have the hardpoint. Guess I chose the wrong people for the job. My
It's a bloody
bad.
beatdown. I'm pulling the cord.
Disgusting. And like all the charges. Anyway, if we go back and forth, go back and forth, go back and forth. And I can't shake the defamation charge, right? Because it's like I don't have nothing to like prove that this man stole from me. He says, you know what I mean? I have nothing. So I gotta settle. I gotta pay a chunk of money. It's done. But that's like later. While we're still in May, June-ish, we're going back and forth. I'm doing the lawsuit. I'm just like letting the lawyers handle it, drop it down. We go on the gumball rally. I don't even like file data from my phone. I'm so like sick of like everything. I'm like, I'm just gonna go on the gumball rally and like drive.
If anyone doesn't know what that is, you're driving across like the world in Europe, right?
Yeah, I low-key hated it.
You're driving supercars across Europe.
I low-key hated it, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like I was like all that had happened. I didn't even like. I told you, like, the only time I had internet or could talk to anyone was at the end of the day when we get in hotels. We would drive like 10 to 12 hours a day. It was really nice cars. It was like, I look back on it, like I wish I would have let myself enjoy it more.
I mean, brother, can I tell you something? The fact that you were just alive and still moving after all of this is extremely impressive. I swear to God, that is a rough 3 months, to say the least. So don't be too hard on yourself for not enjoying it.
Oh, and right before that, it was like, oh, you got to move out of this face house into the cloud house. I forgot about that. It was like, oh, this face house is done. We're gonna do the cloud house.
After the
and
so
by the
you
way,
went in, had a seizure there, got robbed,
got sued,
couldn't make videos, and then you moved out.
And then
sounds like a fun couple months.
And then they pulled the plug on the crib, and then they were like, yeah, by the way, when you go into this new crib, not a lot of the homies can come with you. So you gotta tell them they gotta figure it out. I'm like, what? I'm like, wait, what? And this is like the day of, bro. This is the day of, and like, I remember like getting in arguments, and like, people are mad at me, and like staying crazy to me. I'm like, what? Like, no one's even paying for this crib.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one that's actually covering all the utilities and all the internet and everything, and this is out of my hands. So I moved to the cloud house. We go to the gun. I come back. 4 nights out. Like, I'm playing a lot of Fortnite at the time. I told you I bought a lot of my stuff back, right?
Yeah.
So, for the most part, I get back like in June, July. It was like a pretty chill, like July, August-ish area, I guess. Nothing crazy.
You in position yet?
Working on it.
What's taking so long? I thought you knew this place.
Don't rush me.
We don't have time. I'm going in.
Crazy.
Chat, this shit's pissed me off, Loki. Loki. So, like, long story short, PC COD sucks. And then Call of Duty sucks on the PlayStation 5 because controller sucks. Too big of a controller. I only use my PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 controller. Better grip. I can't use it because PS5 does not allow it.